Sup shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track by an act named Zion titled Worth It. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. On YouTube, we're going to listen through it from start to finish and I'm going to hear what we think. Let's go. What do we have? Okay, so a guitar riff off the bat. Modulated vocals. Okay. Nice full bass tone there with some plucks. Awesome, those are some lead guitar lines, right? Some muted I can feel the percussion.
21, but I feel about 80. Been in my head, sorry, please don't blame me. Was the only one that I could count on. Tell me it's all gonna be worth it. Trying to find something, been searching.
Okay, so it's like a somber kind of theme here with some really sort of mid to high range vocals. It sits well atop the percussion. It's very kind of relaxed and gentle. It's a nice combination of elements.
I've been up all night searching. I've been up all night working. I'm making them nervous. Thank God I ain't pop off early. I slowly just climbed out the dirty. Don't blame it on me. Missing your call, blame the service. I'm focused on watching the serpents. I know what you mean. I heard him.
I like that line. I'm focused on watching the serpents. You know, there's a bit of creativity going on with the vocals as well. Lyrics.
Why they won't capture my purpose? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I know your timing is perfect, but I just been feeling deserted. What did I do to deserve this? Falling, I'm losing my footing.
There's like a constant loudness to this. I think in part because the guitar just continues the entirety of the way. And even though I know that we're trying to have some drum fills or some moments where there's silence, it doesn't really adjust dynamically. You know, it would have been great to maybe had the kind of guitar cut out sometimes. It's a pretty motif, don't get me wrong.
Try not to drown in emotions. Usually don't swim, but we dove in. Leave all the doubt,
But just when there are those pauses or things coming in and out, when things stop and there's an actual like break within the track, it reinvigorates the attention of the listener because they're like, oh wait, what is this? I've been in this trance for a minute and a half listening through this riff. What is this, you know? And it helps them to kind of appreciate that halfway point more.
It comes fast like a road tide. All in them letters I roll right. All on the road, I can't go back to cold nights. These days, I just been ducking and dodging like Olay. Visitations, woke up early, I'm glad we made it.
There's variation to the way that he's singing and rapping. There's changes in the phrasing of the different stanzas and everything like that.
In the water, I was deep like Navy. 21, but I feel about 80. Been in my head, sorry, please don't blame me. Was the only one that I could count on. Tell me it's all gonna be worth it.
Yeah, that's the angle there.
Trying to find something, been searching.
Okay, so we got ourselves a 21-year-old who feels like they're 8 or something like that, and they're telling us this story, and I think that's really cool. Because this is my my conclusion to my review of Worth It, a track by Zion. What do I think this track is about? I think this track is about someone who's been struggling to cope with their situation in life, you know, dealing with the serpents. And they're just genuinely asking if it's worth it, you know. They're trying to figure out if it's worth all the struggle. You know, and they're looking out for themselves and doing their best. They're searching for something to make it worthwhile. I think that's, honestly, it's something that a lot of people are doing in their early 20s, and often you don't find it into your late 20s because you just either stumble upon it or you work towards it. But there's always something, and so hopefully this guy eventually gets what he wants from life. You know, it's a story that I think a lot of people, especially in his age group, will be able to relate to. I think that's dope. I think that, you know, the vocals, you know, they made sense for the style of music and genre, or listening to that kind of contemporary sort of pop, kind of hip-hop vibe, and that was cool. You know, we had the trap, beats and alongside the synths and the lo-fi guitars with some synth parts as well on the bass. But with the vocals themselves, I think the combination of the modulated vocal parts with the kind of melodic rapped parts there, with the different rhythms and phrasings there, was good. We got the story, and we also had a catchy hook there, which could sit alongside a lot of the music that I hear on the radio nowadays from my major label records. You know, it makes sense, honestly. Like, I'm happy with it. It sounds like a commercially viable release, you know. So that's good. I mean, like, the track is 2.5 minutes, so clearly we have someone who's conscious of like the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot that we have with singles nowadays, and erred closer to the 2 minute mark, which is again maybe more of a smart move, because a lot of songs within this genre are this length, if not shorter, simply because a lot of these stories that we're telling now, it's like we've got like the TikTokification of music, where like we want things to be shorter and shorter and shorter and more sort of bite size. And I'm sure that you know, like in the song's promotional material, we'll have like bits of it, or like the hook line that's promoted or something like that, just to get people stuck into it. And I think in essence, the strength of the song is the hook line. It's the motif behind it that doesn't really change that much throughout. It's the consistency of the way the vocals sound in regards to studio quality, as well as the riff of the guitars and how the lead bit comes in the hook sections just to elevate it a little bit, with the bass coming out or the drums coming out occasionally just to add some airiness without the actual perceived loudness changing because of the way it's been compressed, limited, and mastered. But yeah, no, like behind the vocals, you had this kind of motif of like sort of steel string electric guitars there with a lead like that kind of arpeggiated or kind of danced over top of it in the hooks. You had the bass there working alongside the drums there with an interesting sort of trap grooves, and some other sort of synth parts or pad parts in the background as a sub layer. And that's basically what you had there. It was a motif there that played alongside like boom, 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 or something along like, it was a 4-note chord progression, easy to follow along to. It was looped throughout. There was no change to that, and that's fine. If we had wanted to talk about more stuff in this song, it might have been better to have had more length to it, but we didn't. We had it, again, we wanted it to be a shorter track, so that's fine. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering, you know, like alongside a motif, the overall harmony and coloration of the track, where it just sounded like someone who had a bit of hope and optimism for the future, but wasn't really sure about where they were going to end up. The studio production was good, you know, it was commercial grade, you know, high quality. I'm thankful for the fact that they took it seriously in regards to the vocal recording, filtering, EQing, and the different modulation effects changes are solid on it. The guitars sound nicely panned and EQ'd and filtered as well, and they're nice on the sides, and the lead dancers in the center filtered in that 152 Hz high pass range. The bass is nice and full in the low end, nicely sidechained by the percussion. And the synths, if there were so those sub layers, they were nice and full on the sides, and they were kind of airy and wispy sounding to kind of fill it out. And you know, the leveling was fine. There wasn't a lot of dynamic range because I think they just wanted it to be the same loudness the whole time, so it didn't really drop or lose your attention. There's more than one school of thought on that, but for this genre of music and this specific format of track, it's fine. So yeah, it was nice to loud without pumping. All in all, this is my review of this track, Worth It by Zion, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and a YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.